pull up this story. Let's talk about the good doctor, Jordan Peterson. The Daily Mail says controversial Jordan Peterson tears up as he agrees he's a hero to incel men and responds to Olivia Wilde calling him an insane pseudo-intellectual, saying it really didn't bother me. This is a great story. It's an important story. Jordan Peterson makes a really good point when he says, so he's asked by Piers Morgan, are you a hero to incel men? He says, okay, why not? And then he actually starts crying, which, he cries a lot.
He's a very empathic person.
Yeah.
And I think that he knows he's a hero to incel men because he's like, these men have no one else saying this to them. Like, he's got to strike a chord with him.
This is what he says. He says something to the effect of, it's interesting how there are men who don't know what to do. They're lonely and unsuccessful, and they're trying to figure out how to improve, and they're just attacked and insulted. And you get these, insults against them. He said, I thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice. Ooh. Instead, people like Olivia Wilde saying she made a movie based on him. In what way is Jordan Peterson in any way insane? It's just like they just hate anyone who I suppose it's, I got to be honest, I really don't understand why they hate Jordan Peterson so much, but I have to assume that it's because he's empowering them to the individual.
Yes, I think so. I was actually thinking about this earlier today because I was listening to a remix of his spoken word, as I sometimes do, because what he has to say is interesting and wise. And I was thinking, I think that they hate him because they're evil. And he's trying to construct people, and they only know how to destroy people. And they're doing that with him, just like they've done with lonely men over the past few years. That was what I came up with. I'm gravitating toward the idea that they truly are evil because it seems.
I think it's their source of their identity comes from this, culture war that they perceive Jordan Peterson to be the enemy, and because maybe, I don't know, they didn't have a loving family or something like that, that they have to cling to the tribe of Me Too, and that they'll just continue with that regardless of how much it's grounded in reality.
Well, just to add to this point, I think they also prop themselves up by stepping on other people. Yeah. I think that's the norm. And this is why Jordan Peterson is such a horrible person to them, because he's like, hey, don't get stepped on. Hey, so stand up for yourself. You're a human being. Have some dignity, have some respect for yourself. And it counters the agenda, which is going along with the destruction of the modern man.
Yeah, have a dirty room.
Have a dirty room. Don't be organized. Don't have your stuff together, because that's bad for business. Because when you're disorganized, when you're disheveled, when you don't have family, when you're mentally and physically weak, you're the perfect consumer. And I think that's exactly what they're after. They want you to be a consumer. It's bad for business when people stand up for themselves, when they have families, when they're healthy, when they're happy. And this is why Jordan Peterson trying to help people is not along with the agenda. We have to stop Jordan Peterson because Jordan Peterson is stopping our agenda.
Is there truth to this claim when, like, you see women like Olivia Wilde saying this stuff, that they have bad relationship with their fathers?
Yes, 100%. Because maybe it's because of how I was raised, but I had a really good, really solid relationship with my dad, and I still consider myself really lucky for that. But I see that a lot of people, there's nothing else you can conclude. I think that's what they're missing. What do you think, Richie?
Well, I think I have a personal connection with Jordan Peterson because when my dad was sick, I started listening to his Old Testament lectures.
Yeah.
And that was really right when he was coming into the public sphere. And I think that's part of it too, is there's a religious component there, which is one of the reasons why Jordan Peterson is threatening, because he's articulating all of these kind of old biblical ideas in a modern context, and it resonates with people, and people see a resurgence of the religious right, which, growing up, I didn't understand the power of it until I was confronted with something as difficult as, like a tragedy in your family. But I think that's really what it is Jordan Peterson actually has a point. And that's scary to people who like things the way they are, where they have power.
They want incels. They want white supremacists.
They need
so
them.
When Jordan Peterson comes out and says identitarianism is bad and don't be an incel, improve your life, they're like, he's damaging our access to a boogeyman. The media desperately tries to come out claiming everyone's a white supremacist or a white nationalist. Vox has that famous article where it's like, 11 million people have white supremacist views or some other ridiculous nonsense. And then Jordan Peterson comes out and he's like, hey, don't have these views. Don't be a collectivist. Pick up the heaviest thing you can find and carry it. Work on yourself. Clean your room. All of these things are going to turn these incels into functioning members of society. And it's going to give them strength. And these woke people are terrified of it.
It's one of the main things standing in their way of full conquest, the full control of humanity. It's the subjugation of the modern man. And I do believe they were successful, especially when you look at testosterone levels, sperm levels, mental health, physical health. It's all declining along with IQ. So there is something else going on here. And seeing this kind of concerted attack against individuals who are there to predominantly help people should be concerning for the average viewer, should be concerning for anyone watching this, because we are seeing the destruction of the modern man. I don't think that's a crazy statement to assert here, because the results are clear, especially in our current political and societal system. You can't ignore it. So I think we do need help, but no one's helping them, and the only person who is getting attacked. How does that make sense?